Hi everyone, welcome to this week's edition of GGGaming Gone Mad. It's Thursday night, it's 8:30. It's time to focus on the weekend and have a look at some of the big sporting events that are coming up. Before you do anything else, if you're watching the show for the first time, go below the video, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you subscribe to all of our videos. We're going to have plenty of rugby videos coming up. We do, of course, have the handicap rugby betting show. That's at 9 o'clock, where we go through all the Super Rugby and Six Nations fixtures. And we've got a new feature coming next week as well, so keep an eye out for that one. Make sure you subscribe. Well, joining me from Cape Town, from GGGaming.bet, it's Justin. Justin, good to have you back on the show.
Brent, good to be back. Thanks for having me. And yeah, looking forward to the weekend ahead. Lots of rugby ahead. I'm sure you're all excited, and everyone viewing is excited for the weekend ahead. It's a big one.
That's it. I mean, it's always a big one for me when you've got sort of 7 Super Rugby games and all the Six Nations games. I barely have a chance to look at any other sport, but I mean, there's plenty of other stuff on the go this weekend, including a big English Premier League fixture between Arsenal and Manchester United.
No, of course. Yeah, as you said, there's a lot of rugby. Often when there are so many games, it becomes hard to concentrate on a few games that you're eyeing out, and maybe you should stay out of one or two. But obviously, that's tough when you're watching. You are interested in everything. But yeah, there's a lot of English Premier League. Obviously, the Champions League this week has been awesome from a neutral perspective, just to view. I think the games have been. The legs have been a roller coaster ride, and obviously, yeah, just great from a neutral perspective. So that's been enjoyable. And yeah, looking forward to the rugby. 2 games tomorrow, and then a jam-packed Saturday full of Super Rugby and Six Nations.
Well, please, you talked about the Champions League, because there were a couple of incredible results in the Champions League. I mean, not least of which Manchester United coming from a 2-0 home loss against PSG to win 3-1 and go through to the quarterfinals. I mean, that must have been a cracking price. I saw one of our regular punters, Sean Nicholas, saying it was priced at about 10-1 Manchester United to qualify. Did you have any interest from, let's say, the diehard Manchester United fans?
There was a lot of interest on United to win the game. I think that was around 5 or 6-1. So I think we lost a bit there. I turned in about 10 minutes in, and I think it was 1-0, and I had to go at over 1.5 United goals at around even money around there. And then that obviously won in around the 30th minute. And then I wasn't going to watch the next 60 minutes without an interest. So I got greedy, and that's where I lost. But yeah, it was fun to watch and a good game. But yeah, it was actually an incredible performance and a controversial ending. I'll put it that way, if anything.
Right. Well, I want to just change the order of things a little bit and go straight to our Twitter competition, just so the guys can see it up front. It's not one that they have to go particularly quick on. And Justin, I'm going to take your best bet of the weekend here. And first of all, you were on 2 weeks ago, and your best bet was the Stormers plus 6.5, and they actually got up to beat the Lions in the dying seconds at Newlands. And here we've got the Jaguares. I've just checked the GG Gaming site, and we've got plus 7.5 points for Jaguares. So that's your best bet of the weekend.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it in a second. Just to mention to the guys, you get a 1,000 Rand voucher if you're wrong, and that they are closest on Twitter to the prediction that I'm looking for, which is the Bulls v Sharks game. And I want to know the game winner and the total points. So, for example, Sharks 54 points. You must use hashtag GGGamingGoneMad. And also, obviously, you've got to tag me at Brent Graham in that. So you don't have to go deep into the show. If you want to come back and have a look at it, we've got it nicely on up front now. And yeah, it should be a good one. There's quite a few guys this week that have actually said that they're liking the Jags on the cap. What is it about them that you fancy, Justin?
It's not so much the Jags. It's more so the Lions. I think they've been horrible. It just doesn't seem like the Lions of old. And I think most of the bookies are still pricing them up on last season's form, or actually the previous 3 years' form. You know, I think they've lost the engine room. They've lost a lot of good forwards like Creel and Mostert over to Gloucester. And yeah, they just don't seem like the Lions of old. They got absolutely blown out the park by the Bulls last week. And the Jags have looked solid. I know they've lost Sanchez and Ledesma, but they've looked good at home, and I fancy them to travel well. Their team looks well settled, and I also see a very young centre combination for the Lions. I just don't know how they're gonna deal with it. And I think the Jags could win this game.
Right, so the Jags big runners, in your opinion, to win the game. Just to welcome all the boys on the live chat, we'll be having the competition for our regular 500 Rand voucher in just a few minutes' time. So good to see all the regular names there. Hopefully we've got a few new guys joining us live as well. So just stay tuned for that one. Emil, I see, is on the line. He's one of our big winners. He won the big voucher, 25,000 Rands worth of betting vouchers with GGGaming a while back there. And Gary did hinting that the next time he's on the show, he may give away a couple of lunatic ones, as he tends to. But Justin, plenty of other good big Super Rugby games, and yeah, the Lions and the Jags, which I'll be going to, by the way. But we've also got the Bulls against the Sharks, and I see there's been some money in this game because the handicap, and I think you guys were first out, if I'm not mistaken, you came out at something like 9.5, and it's been right in there. I haven't checked your site, but I'm imagining +4.5, +3.5 Sharks.
Yeah, so obviously when we came out with 9.5, which was a bit high, admittedly. But a few of us in the office had a few strong opinions on the game, and then the market came out around 4, and then we've just slowly gone down. I think we might be on 6.5 or 5.5 now. I'm not so sure. The Bulls have looked really, really good, you know, and I think obviously the Sharks were good in the first 2 weeks, and then against Stormers last week they were a bit average. But I don't think the Sharks team is as good as everyone makes it out to be, and the Bulls look extremely, extremely strong. They look like their forward pack's working well. They're playing a good territory game. Pollard's playing well. Even the likes of Dylan Sage, who was an SA7s player, seems to be stepping up. He played really well last week, and they look like a good all-round side. Not to say that I wouldn't go on the 9.5 minus, but at like 3.5, as you said, where the market's at now, I'd probably be leaning towards the Bulls.
Well, you guys still favouring the Bulls a bit there. Peter Paul just mentioning that you're 6.5 on your side, which, as a matter of interest, is exactly where I handicapped the game. I did my Sunday. In this case, it was a Sunday evening exercise. I had to make sure I didn't see your prices before I did mine. And I came 6.5, and so it seems that you can vary between sort of 4.5 and 6.5. I must say, I'm with you guys, Justin. I like the Bulls. I really thought the bits I saw of them against the Lions very impressive. The Sharks, one of those sides that always find a way to let you down. If you look back at the Bulls' performance against the Stormers, you know, they absolutely crushed the Stormers. And as much as everyone was writing the Stormers off after that performance, the Stormers have actually subsequently come out and beaten the Lions at home and the Sharks away. And when I look at this handicap, I go, gee, it looks a bit shy, and I'm making the Bulls quite a good bet for the weekend.
No, Brent, I think you're onto a good thing there. I think the Bulls will. I think they'll do all right. I don't see Sharks winning the game, and I see Bulls putting in a decent performance. I'm generally a big overs unders punter, and you'd think at Loftus, I think the ref is. I'm not actually too sure the ref is. I think it might be Morris van der Vestes, and who likes an open game, but actually the defensive system seemed to be too good. Like last week, I think 6 out of the 7 games went under, so I'm just a bit hesitant to go into the points lines, and I'd probably go with Bulls on the handicap as my play for that game.
Well, I know you're sometimes in contact with Henrik Swart, who is one of our live viewers tonight. He was also talking to me about the unders there as well. Just to mention to Henrik, good to see everything. Good to see you at home. I'm taking that as good news on your side. And if you are around and you want to join us on the handicap show, please be my guest. We have plenty of room for you on the show. Good to see Oracle Rugby on the live chat as well. And just to continue with Super Rugby, Justin, anything else that's really attracted money this week in any of the other games? Crusaders have named what looks a fairly weak side against the Chiefs. Has there been support for the Chiefs? Because, I mean, let's face it, it's hard to support a side that loses at home to the Sunwolves.
No, for sure. I think when we came out at 15.5 by, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, I haven't checked further, but there's literally been no action on that handicap. A bit of money coming in for accumulators and stuff on Crusaders outright, you know, at I think 1 to 10 or something. But yeah, not much action since I haven't really checked. I didn't check today, but yeah, otherwise, a bit of money for the Blues handicap. I think at 14.5. I think that obviously the Sunwolves beat a very lackluster Chiefs side, and I think Blues will beat this cap. So there has been money there, and then obviously the Sharks, a ton of money came in there for the higher plus. But otherwise, most of the money comes in game time. So tomorrow morning and through Saturday, we'll see the majority of the money coming in.
Yeah, it'll certainly come in unless the bookies make an obvious, let's not call it an error, but if they make a judgment difference to the punters, that's when you get the real action up front. Okay. I'm pleased you mentioned the Blues game because, and I hate to say this, and the guys on the live chat will probably have a bit of a chuckle, but I make the Blues on the handicap my best bet of the weekend. Yeah, I feel the Sharks game, I wasn't terribly impressed with them, but I felt they had their chances in the bits that I've watched in the Huggy game, and they certainly had their chances against the Crusaders. And I don't know if the Sunwolves can turn in another performance like that. And I just think the Blues are going to be ready for them. There's certainly going to be no surprise factor there for the Sunwolves. And I'm looking for the Blues to run away with this one.
No, Brent, I think you're starting to another good thing there. I think the Blues will clear this handicap with ease. Yes, the Sunwolves put an incredible performance last week. But this Chiefs team is seriously woeful. So, and the Blues haven't been bad. They've played Crusaders, they've played Sharks, and they've played Jags. I think they played the Crusaders at home and then the last two away. And let's be honest, okay, yes, they lost last week, but the Jags are stubborn, especially in Buenos Aires. They're a tough team. They're well coached, and they're an international side. So. I do think the Blues will put them away between 21 and 30 points, somewhere around there. I think they'll beat the handicap with relative ease.
Yeah, so you and I are aligned on that one, Justin. So we all over the Blues there. There's also, of course, Six Nations rugby taking place this weekend. I found it a bit hard to get into the Six Nations after the gap. I preferred when it goes 1 week after the other. I had to sort of think back to what had happened. But the reality is that Wales are in a pretty good position to put themselves in line for the Grand Slam, although they do face a tough match last up against Ireland.
Yeah, I would actually say both of the next two games are tough. I wouldn't say Scotland at home is going to be an easy one for them. True. And if I look at this Welsh team, it's really, I would say average players. They're not great, but as a team they work really well. Obviously, Gatlin's a really quality coach. I forget the name of their number 12 now. I think he's originally from New Zealand. He's honestly like a very bang average player, but it just seems when Gatlin's brings this team together, they got a solid set of forwards. They work well. They got good structure. They got bigger that kicks. Anscombe's a bit of a playmaker. They just make it work. But I think I'm not too sure what the cap is now, but I think the Scotland team with a few injuries back, Finn Russell back. I think they'll do right on the cap, and Scotland plus for me on this one.
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you that Scotland are plus 3.5. There's even money, the 3.5 minus 3.5. Wales is at 8 to 10. Before we just carry on, Justin, it's time to quickly give the boys the competition. Otherwise, they're going to run out of time. So I think we'll pick. We've already picked did we pick the Sharks game? In the previous one, let me just actually have a quick look. I don't want to double up yet. So we picked the Bulls Sharks game for the other comp. So let's go Lions Jags, and let's have it pick the winner of the game, pick about how many points, and then let's make it a little bit tough. Throw in the total points as well, and we'll rank them in that order. You got to get the winner, then the closest person will win. Who gets closest to the handicap will win. But if that happens to be a tie, then we'll go to the total points line. So we want to see Lions games, who's going to win by how many points, and what are the total points going to be at Emirates Park?
If I can just add something quickly, just to get the boys excited and whatnot. Gary and I have come up with this idea. So from April, we're going to run a competition. If you're an existing customer and you spend 2,000 Rand in a given month, you send your Springbok predicted 15. 1 to 15 has got to be in that specific order to play against New Zealand in the opening fixture of the Rugby World Cup. And so obviously I think it runs between April and July, so it's 4 months. So you'll get 4 different entries. Granted, you spend your $2,000 in each month. And if you predict that exact side that plays against New Zealand, you'll be put into a raffle with the other winners to potentially go to the World Cup final and spend 4 nights in Tokyo. So that's an exciting prize coming up.
Excellent. And I'm sure Gary's going to tag along there as entertainment manager.
No, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if he books himself a business class flight and then the winners go in economy class.
Right. Well, last week's winner, just looking here, Brad Chislett says Jags by 9, 36 total points, looking for a low-scoring game. I'm going to be at the ground, so knowing me, I'll be punting the points there. Ruan Farid, regular winner on the show as well, Lions by 14, 50 points. Generally speaking, the guys are coming Lions. Ruan also saying that's a great idea for a comp. And I think you will get a lot of interest from the guys because, geez, to go over to a World Cup final will be an absolute dream.
No, it'll be awesome. Just make sure that if you think that your team is a runner, get your visas in order and what else, and make sure you can take off leave for those days. That is something to think about.
It certainly is.
but yeah, it is going to be tough. I mean, the competition just ends in July, just because before the squads get announced and injury news and stuff, you know, there are a lot of variables and factors that need to be taken into account. It's going to be tough to predict the exact starting lineup. But if you do have 4 opportunities at it, you can mix and match. You know, maybe your tactic will be like your standards, like Dwayne Vermeulen, Faf de Klerk, and you just bank on those guys not getting into it. And then with maybe your center combinations, you change up. I don't know how you go about it. But yeah.
But look, you can't make it easy to win a trip to the World Cup, so it's got to be a challenge. But I mean, look, let's face it, if you look at the side, especially as you get close to the time, you're bound to come up with 10 or 11 bankers, as you say, barring injuries. So it's really the other players that you've got to find the mix.
Exactly, yeah. So it's injuries and maybe just, yeah, I'd say injuries is the main concern for the guys, because everyone sort of knows, obviously 1 or 2 players here or there, but the bulk of the 15-man squad, you sort of know what's going to get predicted, you know?
Right. Well, just looking at some of the entries coming in, I'd say the majority of them for the Lions, but quite a few by the Jags. Good to see Des Simons. Gee, I haven't chatted to him in a while. Lions by 13, total 51 points. And quite a few new names. So great to see we got some new names, guys. And make sure you are there next week when Gary has promised to come up with something a little bit crazy. And talking of Gary, where's he at the moment at the poker, right?
Yeah, so I think Gary's tournament started tonight or tomorrow night. So I think that's going on for a few days. So he's just gone up to Joburg. He's actually coming back. He left today, coming back tomorrow. And then I think he's literally in Joburg again on Monday and again on Wednesday. So he's busy for now. But yeah, he's in the office as much as possible. So
lifestyles of the rich and famous there of Gary Lentin. Anyway, Justin, it's been great chatting to you guys. If you're waiting like the Oracle Summers does, although I see you got in early this time to see what other guys have predicted before making your picks, you better get in quickly because we are going to be ending the show now. And Justin, thanks very much. It's been great having you on. Enjoy your sporting weekend. And I won't say I hope it's too good a weekend for GGGaming, because that, of course, means it's probably not a good weekend for guys like myself.
No, Brent. Thanks for having me again. All the best for yourself, and hope you can make some money this weekend. And yeah, all the best. Have a lacquer weekend, and I'll chat to you soon.
Excellent. That was Justin from gggaming.bet. If you missed part of the show, don't worry. You can catch the recording. Also, make sure you subscribe. And for those of you that are watching live, hope to see you all in about 12 minutes' time for the handicap. We'll have Hein Dumont and Oracle Rugby on the show. Henrik, a potential starter. I'm not sure what his situation is. We were going to have Sean, but he unfortunately can't make it tonight. But we definitely got the 2 guests. We're going to run through all 7 Super Rugby matches. Let's see if we can recover from what was a pretty tough weekend last week. Right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks very much for watching, and good luck to all of you guys entering the competition.